Today we're headed over to Monticello, a little town in the Jefferson County, Florida. Place over there called Old City Cemetery. I came across it doing a little bit of research on the Seminole Indian Wars here in North Florida. This cemetery is, I believe it was 193 years old and has over 200 burials. Let's ride over and check it out. Welcome back, it's your lousy Florida traveler. So we're over here at the Old City Cemetery in Monticello, Florida. A lot of Civil War, Spanish-American War, and Indian War era from the War of 1812. Veterans buried here. A lot of early pioneers in this area. Some of them are marked, some of them ain't. Let's go check it out and see what we can find. I'll give you a little pan. It's being mowed. A lot of these old brick styles. Walk through and just see who we see. See what we see. You gotta kind of be careful where you walk. There's a lot of them here that's overgrown. See the old brick. A lot of brick type. Them aren't even mortared. Brick skirting around. Let's see. This is a World War I veteran. Mitchell Victor Scott, Florida Sergeant, 801 Pioneer Infantry, World War I. Born December 27th, 1891 in Jefferson County, Florida. Died January 24th, 1947. Salutation and president of the class. Active worker in religious, literary, and social life of the student body. Member of the YMCA cabinet. And a member of Liberty Debating Society. Several of these old steel-sided plaques. Can't read them no more. You can see that the concrete out in front of them is actually bricks covered in concrete. Get up on that hill, see what we got. Take a little look along our way. Some of these stones. World War I vet, Daniel Proctor. A lot of old graves out here. You can see the brickwork. What's left where some fell in. Some fell over. There's another brick one on the other side of that wood pile. Look like somebody been sitting in a chair watching. There's one of the trees pushing sideways. Really nice brickwork there. A grave of the unknown. There's one where they've incorporated the old one into it, I guess. Charlotte Junius. Born 1855, died in 1903. Sacred the memory of Mrs. Charlotte Julius, who was born in Jefferson County, Florida in 1855 and died at Watertown, Florida, March 12th, 1903. She said she was going home to die no more. All right, here's one. Andrew Jackson Jr., May 1845 to 1917. Member of the House of Representatives, Union Grand Lodge, AF and AM, Grand Treasurer from 1892 to 1952. Founder and Minister, Eunice Hill Missionary Baptist Church, 1915 to 1916. And he died in 1917. So this one has probably been undertook by a church of some sort. And look across there, all of them's old brick. This is probably the oldest part, and it's on the highest hill. I see some fencing, some old wrought iron. That's where we're trying to get to there. As I told you in most of the videos that you've watched I've done on cemeteries, generally on any cemetery, the oldest graves are going to be on the highest point because that's where the cemetery started. which is the best way when you're along rivers, different places, to find old forgotten cemeteries. Anytime you see a high hill, slip up there and check it out. I believe this is the most brick I've seen in one yet. Brick just piled on top. It's not even cement. It's the Confederate States of America, both of those. And you see the bricks. They're all over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, this whole area is just brick, as well as this side. This side seems to be a little newer. They're mortared together. You see how they're all got mortar on them in between the joints. Where these over here on the highest point are just bricks placed. Some kind of fencing over there. We'll make our way there. Some wrought iron. Most of these, unless somebody's come back and added to them, are probably not going to have names on them. That's the original stone broke off. You can see where it broke off and they laid it there. Here somebody's come back and kept it. M.J. Clem. It says underneath it, it's hard to read, but consort of V. Clem. Consort. So he's on through here. A lot of these old brick ones through here with no IDs on them. I see one in that brick pile. It's got a stone. It may be unreadable. These are way over there. Let's see. Yeah, I can't read that. See the trees growing up through that one. There's a neat one here. Ends of bricks. And it's rounded off in the center. Here's one that's got a concrete and marble slab on top of the brick. Let's see if it's readable. There's another one kind of rounded off. A couple of them right there. William Reese Roach. Here's one over here that's triangled on top instead of rounded. Must have been a small child or a baby. James Bailey, born in Canada, died in Wakena, January 27th, 1861. Says he's an artist. Some above ground vaults. That one's smashed. I'm telling you. Restoration and Graves and Walls, Eagle Project by Kurt Register, 1999. So there's been some restoration efforts in this cemetery, looks like, according to that plaque. This first one here, beside that broken one, is Agnes Ormond Ware. Born in Leith, Scotland, and died in Monticello, Florida. So you gotta remember, this cemetery is 193 years old. I believe what it said. Maybe older than that. That was the oldest burial I could find online. There it tells you when it was established. See, he's over here where these fence ones are. See if we can figure out anything about him. Well, the fences are still in really good shape. Old gate and latch. See if we can find the name on him. Grace Arrington Bailey. Born in 1810, died in 1901. Now, she was the wife of General William Bailey. And he may be buried right here next to her. That one's starting to come apart. Let's see. Colonel Thompson Ware. Okay, this would be Mrs. Bailey's father. A lot of these are falling in, broken. So one of these around them, I don't know. I have to do my research. I don't know. I was thinking Bailey was buried over on the Bailey plantation. I could be wrong. Look that up. Check out that wall. Sarah Oliver Bird, daughter of Daniel and Bethelyn Bird, who was born in Edgefield, South Carolina on the 19th of April, 1831, and died near Monticello, Florida on the 18th of June, 1850. Online it says Sarah Bird was a tragic death, a result of her clothes catching on fire after falling asleep in front of an open fire while reading. She was named for her father's first wife, Sarah Oliver. She was 19 years at her death. Buried right here is Mr. Daniel Bird. Mr. Daniel Bird was a captain and a member of the military during the War of 1812. He would have been the father to Sarah Bird. During the Indian War of 1812, Daniel found his daughter Louisa attacked at home, killing her 2 children. So we're finding a lot of the Indian Wars, 1812 Indian War history in this cemetery. This is kind of a step back in time. That vault's open, which means that body has been relocated. Let's see if we can read any of the names. Elizabeth Sarah, wife of B.W. Taylor. And then there's B.W. Waller Taylor next to it. They're inside of this wrought iron. Don't see a gate. Yep, there is a small gate right over there. Just a simple design gate. And there are 2 brick headstones in here. Let's see, this one may have something on it. Let's get around there where we can see it. No, we can't read it. A couple of these we might can out in front of this. One of them we can read Thomas Cooksey, born in 1797, died in 1834. Let's see what this one is. You see some of the brick outline around the edges. James Lawrence Parrish. Here's a couple more right by Mr. Parrish. Mike can read them. Samuel Hodges Taylor. Albert Taylor. Couldn't really find a whole lot online about them. Let's finish this front side right here and then we'll ease on over. James Anderson. Okay, this is the grave of Smith Simpkins, who served as a Jefferson County Sheriff and an ex officio tax collector in the 1840s. So this one here is probably his wife, Mary, I would imagine. If so, she is a daughter to the Colonel Ware that we found over there. These on the cross here. There's some high brick. You see the older ones, I would assume that's what they were. They're just piled on that brick wall. We'll see what's on the other side of it in a minute. It's like 3 babies' graves. Let's walk over here first. There's some headstones over here we might can read. Louisa Breaker. Colonel W.M. Scott Dilworth. Born May the 11th, 1822 in Camden County, Georgia. He died September 25th, 1869 in Monticello, Florida. Commander of the 3rd Florida Regiment, Confederate States Army throughout the Civil War. Here's one we haven't been through. It's a little different wrought iron. And the gate's open. Margaret Scott. You can see the brick underline on several others in here. And right beside Miss Margaret is her husband, James Scott. The three in the back look like children's graves. And Mrs. Elizabeth McIntosh Scott Dilworth would have been the mother to Colonel Scott Dilworth, William Scott Dilworth, which we just looked at up there. She was born June the 2nd, 1795 in Glenn County, Georgia. Died in 1864. Right before the war ended, the year before the war ended. Hannah Elizabeth Adams Williams. Born October 27th, 1809. Died July 23rd, 1836. Married to Darius Williams in Monticello, Florida. Now, on this one, I see the words consort of two. So based on that, and considering the other one was throughout the mid-1850s, I would say here they were using the term consort to represent marriage. Let's ease up and look at the second side of this one we see here. See what we see over here. See the brick in the bottom, but you can't make out much. What in the world? Check that out. Those are shaped like coffins. That's crazy. Susan Taylor. There's an infant in here, too. And then it looks like two adults, two more infants. And I would say these are two kids, adolescent kids. 1864 death, 1867. I would definitely say these were probably done in part of some kind of restoration project. I could be wrong. You look at the brick on those versus the brick on the others. That's a clean cut brick. It don't look like it's been here as long, and the mortar joints in it have been dressed up. There's no wear on the outside. So this may have been part of that restoration we see. That don't mean the old ones might not have been shaped very similar. I don't believe these were put here back in that time era. They may have been restored back to like they were. They may have been there originally. There's a new one. There's more brick piles. Makes me curious too to look up. You don't see usually many brick in other towns. You do see some brick. Makes me wonder if maybe there wasn't a brick factory here during that period. Somewhere here in Monticello. It seemed like they were readily available. John M. Clark, born December 10th, 1836 and died February 12th, 1908. He enlisted in Company G, Florida 5th Infantry Regiment on the 8th of March, 1862 and mustered out on October 1st, 1864 and transferred to Company K, Florida 10th Infantry Regiment on October 1st, 1864. He mustered out on April the 9th, 1865 at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. Willie Johnson, not sure of a birth or a death, but he was killed on a battlefield near Dallas, Georgia. See another roll iron over here in this fence. Left of the brick wall here. Based on the way the bottom is, I would say at one time it probably went all the way around. See remnants of it falling apart still. Anything readable on me. Go around the other end. Marcia Ann, consort of Paul Omer. And this one is Paul Omer. We're out by the edge of the road, just easing back toward the other end now. Let's see what we got here. Edmund Fuller. Right next to him is Father Reverend Buckley Stillman Fuller. We hadn't done that section inside the fence there. Let's go over there. And the gate is open. All of these are Confederate. CSA, 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 CSA. Their names on them. They're all Confederate soldiers, or Confederate markers. Confederate States. There's a brick one in here. All right, we got a couple readers in here. Lewis Connolly, born June 28th in 1843, Dallas County, Alabama, in the town of Selma. Died in Monticello, Florida, November the 22nd, 1864. He was a lieutenant in Company H, 29th Alabama Regiment, Confederate States Army. We got one more over here that has a name on it. William J. Dickinson, South Carolina, Captain, Colonel Company G-17 Regiment, South Carolina Infantry, Confederate States of America. Born January the 28th, 1830. Died August the 30th, 1869. Wounded at the 2nd Manassas in Virginia on August 31st, 1862. He was eventually declared disabled from his injuries in 1864. Yeah, all inside of here, it's got Confederate States of America headstones. Those are the only two that are readable. Well, that pretty much concludes our little tour here today. Some of them we was able to find that I was looking for. Some of them we wasn't. Really unique cemetery though, a lot of age to it. So I got to walk back across the road. I wasn't nowhere to park over here. I actually parked over at a place called Roseland Cemetery.